Welcome to another book club episode. Not sure if this is Palm Central or Stuck in the Middle or a combination of both, but welcome to the platform. If this is your first time, hit that subscribe button at the bottom for weekly or probably monthly notifications on our book club episodes. Shout out to all those who have been able to listen or watch the previous ones that we've done, and for those who have actually contributed, somehow, some way, either commenting or actually get engaged, engage us in conversations about what we're recording here. Follow us on all platforms, social platforms at SITM Podcast or PWC Cast, and on all streaming platforms at SITM Podcast or Palm Wine Central Podcast. Again, for weekly notifications or monthly notifications for book clubs, and then for other, podcast episodes weekly. Yeah. No further ado, man. Welcome, the ladies, the book club panel. I'll let each and every one of them introduce themselves real quick, beginning with Therese.
Hello. Back at it again. I'm excited for this one. You said my name already, so thank you. Hi, everyone.
Mane.
Hi, everyone. Back again, and looking forward to an exciting discussion, I would say.
Yeah, Barbara.
Hi everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hold on, it's Tuesday. I'm sorry. Happy Tuesday. That should tell you how excited I am for the weekend to come. I'm excited about the book. I cannot wait to dig into the different characters. See, this is about to be a fun book club today. Can you tell?
Hold on. Let's introduce Nora. Nora, please, introduce yourself back. Let's go.
Hi, everybody. It is Nora here. I'm excited for this book. I just finished it a little over 90 minutes ago, so I'm fresh.
Don't worry. That makes two of us. But
That's cheating. That's cheating.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just stretching it out. Stretching out your reading. So on that day, at least you recall everything that you might have read. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's why we're calling you there?
No, just an excuse for today. Just an excuse for today, But I go by Uncle AK. And welcome everybody again to our book club. Today we'll be talking about, what book are we even talking about today again? Therese, I beg, help me. Can I find my notes? So please.
We are talking about The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives by, Lord, I forgot her name. Lola something. Lola Shonesey.
I went and asked Google to pronounce that name for me, and they pronounced it, and I kept memorizing it throughout the day, and I still sat here and managed to forget it.
I was going to say, so what did Google tell you? But yeah, I forgot.
No, Shonesey, something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, till you continue.
Yeah, that's the title. I mean, I guess we can dive into a breakdown of the characters in the book.
Now, just give us the brief summary of the book. Where is it taking place?
Okay.
Things like that.
Well, the book setting is in Nigeria. It's about a polygamous family, a man, 4 wives, and multiple kids. It just runs us on what their family is about, values, everyday life, struggles, secrets, mystery, and at the end, I think devotion, I guess. So that's what's going on in this book. It has a lot of layers, so strap on.
Get your seatbelt on, it's a bumpy ride.
Yes. So, listen, I'll take a picture of the family tree and put here on the screen, for everybody to see. And as we speak, you can refer to your mental, that mental picture of, the family tree to kind of align yourself, with the conversation. I don't want to go down, that rabbit hole of introducing each and every one of, each and every character, because I feel like our emotions would just go wild and we might go down a rabbit hole without really even knowing that we're in that rabbit hole. So I'd like for us to do it this way. For each and every one of us, what surprised us the most about the characters, both individually and in their interaction with each other? What surprised you the most? Like, you could pick one or two, and you could say from that perspective. And then, if somebody picked somebody that you were going to say, well, sorry, too bad for you. Try the other one. So, Mane, mind kicking us off, please?
Putting me on the spot. Okay, who would I go with? I would say, but how you say the last wife? How you say her name?
Bonale.
Yeah. I would say I admire her strength and courage, given all that she went through, from being raped, and then the abortion, and then dealing with the household she grew up in, and ending up choosing to be a fourth wife. And despite all that went on in that house, she still stayed there, even when she was being accused of trying to kill her husband. But I do applaud her for living in the end, because I was like, please don't tell me you're going to stay. So yeah, her character actually took me through like a roller coaster of emotions. And I actually finished the driver section, revealing, Segi's keys and all. I just finished this morning. So her character kind of like, it took me through all of those ways.
Yeah. Barbara, which one tickled you?
All of them tickled me. This book, every single character. It's just, I fell in love with everybody. But Baba Segi, I guess what he is in this day and age, because this book was written, I think, a couple of years back, but he's, if I say, embodiment of what the African culture is about, for the listeners who are not Africans. He's the headstone of what we describe patriarchy. I cannot even pronounce the word, I'm so sorry. In Africa. But in terms of this book, as we break down each character, you're going to see at the end, he had 4 wives, right? But the wife that he chose, the one that he wanted, was actually Bonlale. Everybody else was given to him. He didn't want them. Iyashegi was just there. Iyafemi pretty much offered herself for the fata. Iyatope was sold to him. The person that he wanted was Bonlale at the end. And he broke his heart. And the one that he tormented, he was doing all the shakara he was doing through that book for his reason. Is because this man was in love with his wife and he was trying to find a solution. He went about it the wrong way. But at the end, he loved and he respected Bonlale when Bonlale said she was going to leave. And he said, okay. And he said his true intention is because all of these women, the one that I wanted, the one that I chose, was Bonlale. That's the one thing that surprised me about him. And then as we go through the books, we're going to talk about Iyashegi, there's the fact that she was a lesbian that they mentioned in the book. And then Iyashegi, the way she was evil, I don't understand. But anyway, as we break down the book, I'm going to dive more in. But yes, Baba Shegi, out of everybody, is the one that I'm like, okay. I mean, he's not bad at all. At the end, he's not a bad person. He just had a very particular way on how he handled things, and I'll blame it on education. But yeah.
Okay. Nora.
I think all of the wives were really interesting to me in how they became his wife, because obviously when we go back to many years ago, wives were pretty much, women got married because they couldn't get jobs, they couldn't really do things, so they ended up getting married because that was kind of the way society is. And obviously we've advanced today, but it was interesting in this book to see how every single girl ended up being his wife. Even the Bonale who ended up being with Baba Shegi, she wasn't in a great place in her life. That's why she ended up saying, okay, this man has made advances towards me and I'm just in a fog, so I will go along with it. So I really just like the fact that it tells you exactly what state of mind you had to be. And obviously, like, Iyatope, who was like, her father was a cassava farmer, he couldn't give the crop, so she was, she was the prize for that year. But obviously, there's a reason why all these women ended up with the man. So that was just a really interesting thing for me to see that years have passed, but at the end of the day, if a woman was educated, she had her own job, she was in a good state of mind, chances are she would have gone a different route than Baba Segi. So it's interesting for me to really think about all the different reasons why they ended up being multiple wives in this man's house.
See, what you think?
I'll go with Iyashegi, the first wife. That I admire that woman. She is a ringleader. She orchestrated the whole house, the entire family. She was in control. And she did not look like she ran things in the house, but she did. Right up until finding out that even her husband's money, she had a hand in it. And I was like, yeah, Shegi, teach me your ways, because I'm not gonna I feel like even despite everything she did, I feel like Shegi tapped into her feminine energy big time. Because and in all that, she was still very respectful, but she knew what to do, how to press the buttons and how to lean. I found myself admiring her and wanting to be like her in a lot of ways. But yeah, Shegi now my guy.
I gotta give it to the wise guy. Is it wise man or whichever? The one
Teacher.
Yeah, teacher.
The teacher, yes.
I gotta give it to him because it's like he has this wisdom, that every time, the dude goes to him, when Babashiki goes to him, he has a way of, addressing him, whether he's hot or cold, he can read the room and find a way of, approaching it. Be it whether it's a moment to not overshare or it's a moment to hold back. Like he knew exactly, the right thing to do. So for me, that was, really kind of impressive. And then the fact that, he could actually appeal to, a lot of different people, not just, Baba Shegi. And him actually listening to him too. That kind of was like, yeah, pretty cool. But since we've discussed a little bit about the characters, I feel like, we could dive in a little bit. Nara mentioned something about Barbara was mentioning something about, the patriarchal world. And then, Nora mentioned something about feminism or, education, I believe. So how does the book explore the theme of feminism within the confines of tradition, patriarchal settings? Did any of the characters' journey resonate with you in terms of, feminist ideals?
I don't think there was a lot of modern feminism in the book amongst the wives, right? Because all of them, especially Iyashegi, she was a big businesswoman, had multiple chains of stores, but yet she was still submissive to her husband. They all did things at the end of the day pleasing their husband, fighting for his attention, his approval and all that. So I don't think there was a lot of feminism in there. They could have been independent because some of them made money, but they weren't for some reason. I just think there's no feminism, modern feminism in that. But I would say at that time, I think given maybe say a few years back, I would say they fit the bill of what a woman's role in a traditional home is. I think they fit that bill very well in that aspect to me. So And what was the second part of the question?
Did any character's journey resonate with you in terms of feminist ideals?
Yeah, no, that's where my answer ends. Sorry.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like going the same route with you, right? Because I don't think the book was very heavy on feminism per that say. The women were feminine, what they define as being feminine, especially Segi. She had a way to seduce her husband, not seduce, but coax the man to give her what she wanted. It's one of those things when they say you hear nowadays, they say, use your feminism to get what you want. She used what she had to get what she wanted. Was she a businesswoman? Yeah, she ran. Baba Shigi's businesses were started from Iyashigi's back because her mother took the money she saved and gave it to Baba Shigi. That's how he started his businesses. So she literally, that's why the man trusted her with the money, let her run the entire thing, came to her whenever he had questions, I think advice he needed, he would talk to her about a lot of things because she was the person, she ran the house. But still, she is what they'll define as, well, in the olden days, she was submissive to her husband. She understood her role as a wife. She made him think he ran things, but she ran things, which is how technically it should be. Like, I'm just gonna give you that opportunity. So it really did not per se focus on feminism. It was just how it was heavy on the African culture because we are all Africans here, and we know in our culture men are allowed to marry 1, 2, 3, 4 wives. That's just how things are. Or back in the day, it was just, that was just the culture. And so I think the book somehow explored that aspect of things and brought light to a lot of the things that happened in the houses when you have it's a divided home, I guess, because it's like you have wife 1, wife 2, wife 3, wife 4, and how they all cohabited under one roof and how he shared his time. So it really did not, I didn't see feminism in the book per se. I just saw women being feminine and being submissive to their husbands.
Okay,
The African way.
all right, let me ask this then to Nora Abane, right? I'm guessing since he didn't lean heavily on feminism, then he leaned heavily on on masculinity, right? So, how did this book address issues of masculinity, especially through the character of Baba Shegi, in your view, as you read the book?
I mean, go ahead, Nora.
I would say, like, as far as Baba Shegi, he was just a man who, I think he cared about family a lot. He mentioned family time. Like the one time he told Bolale after they came from the doctor, like, wherever you want to go, I don't care, but make sure you're home for family time. So I feel like he was a man who really cared about his family as a whole. Obviously, making children for him was something that was important. Every man wants, their name to continue, their legacy to continue. So to him, it was like, oh yes, I conquered them, but I also have children. So that's something that he really, really cared about. And also, I think that that's really what just broke his heart in the end when he found out that the children weren't his. And although he had listened to teacher on multiple occasions, when teacher told him how Shegi should go get pregnant, and then teacher was the one who recommended that he go to the hospital for Bolanle, but at the end teacher was like, you need to kick all of them out. But he's a man who I think appreciated family, and that's why he was like, I won't force you guys to be here if you don't want to. Because I think in his heart, he really loved them and he loved his children. So I think his masculinity, that was there, but at the end of the day, he was like a family man. Like, I think he was a real family man who loved his family with all his heart. That was really important to him.
Yeah, and I agree with that because as I was reading the different stories, because my dad had 5 wives. So, and the way that he got his wives, some of them were similar to the way that Baba Shegi got his wives. Like, back in the day, if a well-to-do man, if you did something for a well-to-do man, or you were supposed to give him something, but you didn't have the thing, and then you had a girl child at home, and back then school wasn't a girl child thing, so it was almost like a trade by barter. It was like, okay, I can't pay you for this, but I can give you my daughter, because they believed that this man will be able to take care of their daughter as opposed to somebody else that they didn't know. So in that patriarchal aspect, men tend to own the women, and they I wouldn't say control per se, but they are under the man's control. So if the man says that XYZ day is your day, you have no choice than to say yes. Because you really can't say no, because if you say no, then you don't get a day at all. So in that aspect or in that culture, it was a man's world. The world kind of revolved around a man. But truth be told, it really revolves around a woman, given how the story ended.
Wait, repeat that last part again.
So, you know how they say it's a man's world? Because, yeah, even today, right, the man, even though things have kind of flipped, the man is usually the one who proposes. You know, the man will go ask for the woman's hand in marriage, and so it appears to be that it's the man that is in control. It's the man's world. But if you really look into it, it's really the women who are in control. Look at Segi. She pretty much had her husband around her pinky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
she was the mastermind of all these children, and if Bolale hadn't arrived, it would have literally gone on until the day this man died, and him not knowing that those were not his children. So yeah.
Yep.
Well,
yeah,
I fell
with him though. I really felt that, and the way I don't know how the audiobook sounds, but the way that the book sounded, like when she revealed the information, it's almost like she revealed it without any remorse. Like she didn't contemplate it; she just like let it all out.
I think she was waiting for a moment. Like I think she was. Exactly. She was waiting for a moment, and I think with her daughter, like I think what happened with her daughter, she just knew that they had reached a breaking point. Her plan didn't work, and she was at this place, so she already knew going in that something is going to happen in this moment. So I think she was just ready to let everything go.
Yeah, because I was just like, whoa, okay.
Just along those lines, right? Just along those lines, you know, secrecy plays a crucial role in this novel. How do secrets both empower and entrap the characters in this book, in your opinion?
That's a hard question. I don't know about empower, but it entraps you because you keep wondering when it's going to come out and how it's going to come out. I mean, that's
let me finish the last part for that question, right? The last part of that question is, can you keep a secret to be a form of rebellion or resistance in this context?
Absolutely. I think that almost all of these women had a reason for why. Yeah, Segi, they took her money for her to get married. Her goal was, one day I'm going to gather all of my money and go back and build that house that they said I couldn't build. So money was literally money was her husband. It wasn't even really her husband. It was her husband was money. She had her secret in her heart. She knew what her end goal was. Yeah, Femi's end goal was, I'm going to go rub it in grandmother's face that these are the children and they came from your son. And I'm going to be this big person. She was rubbing cream because she knew that light was bright. And that was like, all of them had their secret desires. And that was their reason for staying in Baba Segi's house for as long as they did. At the end of the day, it wasn't out of love. Like, we know that. All of them had their secrets and the reasons why they were doing everything every single day. But Ali was just like in a place in her heart where she was like, I'll choose this man. Okay, right now, I guess. And I think she was genuine too. You know, she wanted to give him children. Like that was in her heart. I think she wasn't malicious in any type of way. But, you know, at the end of the day, she was just like, I'm right now where I am, what has happened in my past. You like me. I don't really know what's going on next, so I'll just follow you. So yeah, all of them really had their secrets that kept them going.
I mean, there was one secret, I don't know if he's being rebellious, but because so here's the thing, they all knew Bonale wanted to have kids, but she couldn't have kids, right? There was a reason. Shegi, all of them knew the secret to get into Baba Shegi's good graces, but somehow they refused to tell Bonale. So in that sense, I don't know. I don't know how to define it as being rebellious or as an oppression, because it's like they know it, but it did, at the end, Shegi did say, "Oh, she knew the secret to get Baba Shegi happy or to give Bonale what she wanted, but she intentionally withheld that information." And it was to punish. I don't know if she said, if I'm not mistaken, to punish Bonale or whatever her reason was for not.
I think the education part, they didn't like the fact that she was coming in there trying to teach them things. So I don't know.
I think it's mostly jealousy.
It was jealousy.
They would have looped Bonlale in, but I think they were jealous because she is the one wife that Baba Shegi went out and got himself.
Yes.
So they knew that there was a special bond between Bonlale and Baba Shegi. And if Bonlale brings a child into this home, it's over for everybody else. They knew that. And so they literally used everything in their power to try to stop that. And they knew that she wasn't going to get pregnant by Baba Shegi at all. So they weren't stressed about that part. They just needed her gone. Because he still loved her and showed her so much preferential treatment in spite of not having kids. Which was unlike Baba Shegi, because he really lived just for the kids. And so that stirred up a lot of jealousy among the wives, that they were like, yeah, she gotta go. Everything else was just extra. So because of that, it just kind of, I think it was like a snowball effect. And so they just hated everything this lady did. And it was just like, we gotta get her out. Otherwise, there would be no room enough for us. Because like you said earlier, it was each wife had a day. And he was doubling down with Bodlali. And everybody was like, what is this? So I think it was a lot of jealousy.
Each wife Sunday, whoever behaved nicely for the remainder of the week gets Sunday. What kind of wild is that? That's
so it was like, according to, okay, so Shegi is the first wife, Femi is the second, Tope is the third, Bolale was the fourth, right?
Tope is second.
So okay, so Shegi, Tope, and then Femi, Femi, and then Bolale. So I think Shegi was it Sunday or Monday? The way before Bolale came, somebody was Monday.
Yeah, she was 2 days. Yeah,
2 days. So and then he stopped on Thursday. And then he reset. Yeah. And so this problem came because when they said when Bolale came, he shut somebody's day. And Femi was pissed because she used to be the favorite. She used to get the extra day. And then you get an extra day when somebody was on a period. Like if somebody was on a period, somebody else gets an extra day. This, in fact, I don't know how these women did it, but that sounds very stressful. And so, besides, there was jealousy, but there was just a lot of little things that these women, Femi, that woman is deliverance. That particular,
and the part of her, she just used God. Everything fasted, like I could not. Like sometimes I would flip past her section. Like, okay, take me to the next place, and I'll go read. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand it. So I have to go back. Yeah, she was emotionally exhausted.
Femi planned revenge on her family for so long that she went back and burnt down her father's house.
At least she wasn't a murderer. That's the good thing. At least she wasn't a murderer. So we're happy about that.
Well, she is. She is a murderer.
She is.
Because she
killed. Yes, she did.
But was the plan to kill her though, or to just poison her?
It was to poison.
Never mind. Yeah, she's a murderer.
Yeah, it was to put 1 or 2 drops, but she put the entire bottle. That was the instruction they gave her. Put 1 or 2 drops. The goal was to get her to have diarrhea, paralyze her stomach, and send her out. So she realized and not come back. But Femi is a wicked person and she's using God, and so she pours the entire bottle. Oh, better not snake. But we'll get to that part.
You know what? I mean, what's intriguing what's intriguing, especially with the timetable, right? The sexual timetable is
Not sexual timetable.
It was a lady title.
it's a sexual timetable, right?
You gave it a name.
I mean, that's what it is. You know, what I mean, like I was confused because I just could not believe that. I want, one end of it, they're complaining about, his tactics, how he goes about it. And then on the other side, they're complaining about not having enough time. Right. And I'm like, if you complain about how he's going about it, the pain and everything, shouldn't you be relieved that at least he's not?
I thought I was the only one that was bothered about that. I mean, they always talk about how he has a big bowler,
Hold on, wait. But the pain was in the beginning. No? They said in the beginning. They did not complain after. They said at first.
No, hold on.
When
It's even worse. It's worse because at this point, they're there laying there numb as hell. They're not in that moment. So, what's the point?
They just want their husbands, okay?
Because Iyatope clearly says that whenever Baba Segi mounts her, she thinks about Tunde. She
Tunde,
clearly
yes.
said it.
Yeah.
That's exact. I'm not exaggerating. It's in the book. She said when he mounts, she thinks about Tunde.
That's wild.
And that's it. So, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And wait, let me ask this. Kind of led us to, you guys were speaking a little bit about it, but let's elaborate on it a little bit. Did you find yourself judging any of these characters, in the book? I mean, you probably judged everybody, but who did you judge the most? You know what I mean? Who did you judge most in this book?
Femi.
Hey, Femi.
Why?
It was Femi.
She was using the Lord's name in vain. She should have just been evil and be evil, and not
Right.
spinning around like that.
That's always bad.
Yeah, that got to me. I was like, if you're evil, just be evil. Don't.
Don't say God says they should get deliverance because of X, Y, and Z, or it was sad.
Who was the person who went to the tailor and messed up everybody's Christmas clothes?
Femi.
It
It was Femi.
There you
And
go.
then Femi.
Her evil was evil.
Man, that was terrible.
She was
Femi
supposed
liked
to be
me.
the third wife and be that evil. I'm like, no, there were two people before you.
But honestly, she had. I mean, she was. I felt bad for her small, only small like this. She really did. She went.
I honestly wish it was one of her kids who ate that food.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, for her to whip the what you call it,
The
the
one
seeds
who
that
actually
she
put
sowed,
out it
because
inside. Yeah.
her evil was on too many levels.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, I was judging her. That's the person I was judging the most.
No, Femi was bad. They call batshit crazy.
Yeah.
She was crazy. But the kind of crazy, the ones that be looking at you that's smiling, they look very normal. But she was messed up in the head.
Babs, it's Iyafemi. Femi was her son. So
Yeah,
Iyafemi is
Iyafemi.
mother of whoever.
Mother of Femi.
Yeah.
And it was her son that actually liked Bonali, right? Femi.
No,
Yeah,
it
Her
was
son.
Segi's son.
Oh, it was. It was.
Yeah. Oh, the
Femi's
first
son.
wife's son. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Her son was the one that was lazy and didn't want to do his homework and would just be just as rude as. Yeah.
I think the other person that I judged out of Iyafemi that she annoyed me was Iyatope. When the let me call him, sorry, I don't want to use a profound the N word. But when the side piece dumped her and she went into depression, it was annoying me. It was paining me. I was very annoyed by the matter. Got into depression until she left her children and Segi was complaining about it. I wanted to slap her through that book. She pains me. I was very annoyed. I was like, what is wrong with you now? That part pissed me off. After, it's like, Segi, I think, was the only person that I had a Bonali that I had respect for. But everybody else I judged from bad, and then Baba Segi too, she was very illiterate. But that's a different topic.
Yeah, when that guy went to the hospital and the doctor told him to go give some semen sample, and then describe
That
that.
part was so
Man,
funny.
That was a very interesting scene.
but mine was he had PTSD after that.
Yeah, he was like, this is not natural. I don't blame him.
But in African culture, like, just let's think about the times when this was written, the time this book was written. It was unnatural for him. You can understand why he found that.
Yeah,
Yes, why he
that's
found
all
it
they
very
do, but
weird.
just do it. Just do it.
Yes, it's a very in his head. He said he felt like he was belittled, which I can understand. Like, he's like, I'm this macho man. I'm not supposed to. I should be able to control
That's
myself.
right.
Yes, that's what he said. But I go into this room and I see one thing, and my thing just like, what's this? Like, he was. Yeah, I don't blame him at all. So there was a reason.
Man, who else pissed you guys off, man?
Yeah, Segi's mother. I need to find that woman and beat the brakes off her because she shattered her daughter's dreams. She literally did. Yeah, Segi, she worked hard for her money. She did. And for her to steal that money and constantly pouring negativity into her and telling her, oh, you're gonna have all this money, no man is gonna want you, no man wants a successful woman, no man wants this, and constantly telling her about, oh, her father was a failure, all these things. Meanwhile, secretly she was wishing for her to have a happy home, which is something I don't get, but I guess trauma has its own way of working. But for her to steal her daughter's money and give it to her friend, for the friend to give to her broke son, for the broke son to come and marry the woman who made that money, I would never have forgiven a person like that. I need to find that mama and cut maybe her right ear off, but I digress. That was
and that just makes you have respect for the Iyashegi, because after all that happened, she had her goal, but at the end of the day, it's not like she ever told Baba Shegi that, oh, this was my money. She just did her wifely duties. So you have to give her props. You have to give her props.
She never, and that's where I think, in spite of everything, she earned my respect. Not a single day did she ever stand and tell the man that all the money you have is mine. It's from me. Like, you were broke. I literally gave the money you came to marry me was mine. She never mentioned, she never raised any issues, because I feel like because she understood where her power was, which was in her feminine energy. And where I just completely fell in love with her was where she said, men are like yam. You cut them how you like. Listen, I was like, yeah, Shegi, that's bars right there. You're dropping bars. I was, she understood how to make the situation work for her. And for that, I have utmost respect for her character.
See, to that point, right? As you mentioned, this was like written in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel as though that statement is true today?
The men are like yam. Yeah. Yes, I completely agree.
Explain. Elaborate more on it.
Because, I feel like the feminine energy, right, is very different from what a masculine energy would be, right? Just based on nature. And I think when we as women push against that feminine nature, that's where we struggle with relating to the opposite sex. And if you find that pressure point for yourself and lean into it, you're unstoppable, pretty much. There are a lot of women out there, and sometimes you don't even have to be the best person in the world, to be honest with you. You don't even have to have the best morals. But a woman who has tapped into that feminine energy, you can tell she commands a room, she commands presence, she literally can get anything she wants. And that's how I feel like that's how we win as women, when we do that. But I don't know, I guess modern feminism is a lot pulling us out of that. Like, for example, like, you're not going into a shouting contest with a man, even if you're right. That's not how you win that fight. You know, you don't go tit for tat. You're not fighting with a man by matching his energy. And Yashegi clearly shows us that that's not how you win as a woman. You know, you have your own superpower pretty much that you can lean into, and you can really have a man wrapped around your finger.
Yeah.
What was it she called Baba Segi?
My lord.
My lord, yes.
Yes.
Like, as soon as Baba Shegi steps into the house, this woman is a completely different
She's
person.
running again.
My lord.
She is like, my lord is here. The food, she's taking off his agbada, she's taking off his shoes. And you would not believe this is a woman whose money, this whole family is literally built on this woman's wealth. But she never ever said a word. And I think it's because of that respect and order that she really wanted to give her husband everything that he wanted, that she stepped out to get pregnant for somebody else, and then taught the other wives the same thing, just so that Baba Shegi was unfortunately very oblivious. But she did all that just to make sure that he had everything that he could possibly want. That right there, I don't see anything more feminine than that.
Did you say respect?
Hmm?
Did you say respect?
What do you mean? No, I didn't say respect.
You,
I said she gave everything. Did I say respect?
I think I heard something about, the respect she has for him to step out the crib and even bring the other women.
No. I said it was the love, like love for wanting to give him everything he wanted. Now, did she go about it the right way? Absolutely not. But there's no denying the fact that that was clearly her intentions.
No. How is it her intentions? How is that somebody's intentions?
Because Baba Shegi wanted children, and he could not get her pregnant. So instead of hurting his ego, and obviously nobody would have even blamed him, they would have blamed her. So to save her husband's face, she stepped out the first time when she realized that, okay, it's her husband that has the problem. Again, at that time, nobody would believe. If not for Bonlanle, this man would have never believed that he had a problem. They would have still blamed her. She went a second and a third time just to save her husband's face. Now, it was the wrong method, but her intentions were very clear. She was trying to protect her husband. She just did it the wrong way.
Protect? Save face. Those are the words we're using here.
Yes. Yes. I still say that, yeah.
How about the truth? How about the truth? Right? How about the truth? You just tell the person that, the reason why I'm not able to, carry kids is because you cannot give me one, and then go from there. If you decide
because in that setting, women, in that setting where that was made, women are always the problem when there's no child in the marriage. Even now, yes, initially it's nobody ever thinks this man has low sperm count.
Even the sex of a child,
it's the woman's fault.
Exactly, but they always blame the woman for not giving the man a son, but the man determines the sex of the child.
Yeah.
To this day.
So, Eki, I have a question. Why do you think she was disrespectful to that man? Because you mentioned respect, and what was the other thing you mentioned?
Thing is this, right?
It was not truthful.
If you're going to step out, knowing fully well that this man cannot get you pregnant, and you took it upon yourself to, one, not even try to inform him that, you might be the problem, and see that he's going and getting all these other women with that thing in mind, and you still don't tell him, it's not till some other woman comes and then they go to the hospital and find out. To me, that's pure evil. To you, you might see it in face. To me, I see it as pure evil. I see it as somebody who has found their sweet spot and will go about it and do everything in their power to stay in that sweet spot, because they feel as though if they leave that position, they will not find anything better than what they're in that particular moment. So it's a form of manipulation.
Yeah.
It's a form of extortion. Matter of fact, everything bad about it. I will
It
call
is.
it.
And I agree with you. I'm not
Yes.
saying that her method did not have her method did
saving
not
face, though.
justify the
Not
means.
saving
It
face.
did not. It absolutely did not. But I believe in her mind, she truly thought that this is what she was doing
That's
for
the
her
thing.
husband.
Yeah.
But
No,
her
I'm
intentions
only
did not
that
match
it
her
was wrong.
impact.
Nah, man.
No. Okay, see, the thing is that to you, right, you can see, we the readers, you can see and see it's disrespectful. But I don't think Shegi thought that thing was disrespectful. She actually, low key, if you read the entire book and get into it, she thought she was protecting her husband's face. Because back in the day, but let's say, Baba Shegi is a Yoruba man, number one. They have ego and pride. And children is, what did she say? What did the teacher say? That's how you show you're a man. So she understood that. Did she go about the wrong way? Yes. Was she selfish? Maybe. But did she do that to that the word disrespect?
See,
I don't think that woman went to disrespect her husband intentionally.
to add upon what I've been saying, right? And I'm not taking away from everything you guys are saying. I agree. But to keep building upon how disrespectful this thing was, is she knows exactly this man was like that again. And the reason why she accepted wife number 2, wife number 3, wife number 4 was because of the fact that she had already stepped out, and she will go again and do everything to keep that a secret and even bring other people along with her, provided if they're able to play ball or be a team player. The reason why they couldn't, bring the last woman into the whole mix was because she was educated. At some point, they felt inferior to her, or however they say it.
Inferior.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like they see that, if they actually bring this woman in, she will definitely snitch on them, or she will find a way, to get this man to understand, hey, this is what's going on in his household. But for somebody to actually do that deliberately and say, knowing fully well, and even recruit other people, man, that's like, how can I put it? It's just pure evil, man. There's no way I can see it. There's no other way. There's no other way.
I think it's
Just
great.
As a man,
Shegi was her sole motivation in life was greed. That was the center of everything that she did, and that was the root of every bad decision that she made. Because here was her reasoning at the end of the day was, this whole family was built on her back, and she'd be damned if she left this for another person to step into.
Sure.
So yes, she was willing to go to the ends of the world, as far as unintentionally killing her own daughter in the process because of greed. I think greed was what made her wake up in the morning.
Who was the person who brought the little
And that was
thing with the
that
needle?
was the root. When they say the Bible says money, love of money. Sorry, you said needle what?
No, I said
I
who was
think it was
the
her.
It was Femi? No, it was Femi.
Oh, it was Femi. Femi was with the chicken with the thing.
Yes.
who was the person who did that?
The Christian one, Femi.
Femi.
That's why I'm saying that, in as much as Segi, was the when T was talking about, when AK asked how that scenario plays in today's world, it brought to mind the saying that the man is the head of the family, but the woman is the neck. So she tends the head wherever she wants it to go.
Yeah.
And it's the same today. So in as much as Segi did what she did to protect herself, and this is what they say about, once you tell a lie, you have to keep telling a lie to protect the lie, because if at some point
she
you
was
say the
ready to
truth,
let it go. Yeah, she was ready to tell when that time came.
yeah. So she had in order to protect herself, she had to lead the women in getting the kids the way that they got it, because if they did not, then she would be
She was
found
the first
out.
to get caught. Yeah, she would have been the first to get caught.
That's why.
But these women have been, quote unquote, so disrespectful towards that man. Baba Segi, respectful in the sense that he comes in, they take off his clothes, his shoes, all these different things. Would they be so respectful? Damn near even laying in bed while he's like stroking them and their minds are thinking about other men. Would they be so willing to do that if they didn't have that secret?
But you need to understand that Baba Shegi was a man that had money. Number one, he was wealthy. I don't think the secret had to do with them allowing him to stroke them or whatever. I don't think he had any.
I think that because of the way that they got to him, they just wanted to be there, irrespective of how they got the kids, whether it was through him or through somebody else.
I think he was a good man. Like, I don't think he was. Yeah, I think he was a good man.
A good provider, which back in the day, that's all women really cared about, a roof over their head.
Yeah. He was. He was a good father. They said in the book that he was a good father. He loved his children. His children were his source of joy. They brought him joy. So that's why the wives were very eager, very excited to give him more children. Now, Bolali, the one that he actually loved, which they could clearly see, couldn't give him what he wanted, which is what frustrated him the most. Because in his head, it's like, this is the one that I actually chose. I went out and I found this one and I brought her. But the one thing that I want from her, I can't get. And so he could not understand.
Well, he can give her, it's not like he can get.
He cannot. Yeah. Well, he can give it. She couldn't get anything. Right.
Speaking of Bolale, though, her story, oof, that.
Yes. Like, I want to, tap it a little bit, because if you look at the other women, the reasons why, I mean, all of them were selfish. There are selfish reasons for going to the Babashigi. Iyafemi was just trying to get a fast life. She just needed to get out of that house, number one. Mm-hmm. And then you had Iyatope. Iyatope too was the one that was, I think she has some mental issues, but I don't want to digress into that. Yes. When they started talking about seeing imaginary friends, I was like, okay, this is where we're stretching it. Yeah. But Bolale was trying to. Her story is very intriguing because I couldn't understand. She was educated, went to school. Was her mother? Her mother was a typical African mother, but her mother was a little bit crazy. Just one of those. I think her mother was a narcissist, but hey, that's just
useless. So
the mother pressured them a little bit, but because she had this trauma. I'm sorry.
She pressured them a lot. That was a lot of pressure.
Yes,
it wasn't a little.
A lot.
I could literally fit into the book. I was like, oh.
But because of that, and then the trauma that she had as a child, she carried that with her. It's like she went through different phases of the trauma. You got raped, met a boyfriend, thought you guys were something, got pregnant, he forced you to abort. Mm-hmm. And then the only way you can escape and think nobody had reason for marrying Baba Shegi was because she did not want to be judged. She didn't want anybody to.
Yeah, she just didn't want to deal anymore. Yeah.
Deal with it. She didn't want to answer questions. Baba Shegi, she said Baba Shegi never asked her any questions, never questioned her, never tried to dig. He just saw her and said, "You're a pretty girl. I like you. You're kind. I want to marry you." And that was it for her. And so she saw her way out and she exited and left everything. Mm-hmm. Her story, her character is actually quite sad to me. Mm-hmm. If anything, I think it's sad. I think Bane alluded to this earlier in the book. Despite those women being that mean to her, and she still persistently was kind to the kids. When she went to the market, she bought gifts to come and give to the children. Filtered them, was still polite, did not disrespect anybody, even when they accused her she was a witch. She was still polite and she wasn't disrespectful. She still did her best to make sure she respected her husband and respected the wife's position. And at the end, I was glad that she did leave, but despite all of that, the fact that she never once got out of character just says a lot about her. Her story is the one that just touched me a little bit. She's sad to me.
I didn't feel that at all.
I was gonna ask Barbara a follow-up question for that.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Does it say a lot about her character, or was she just too broken
She was.
to fight for anything else?
That's why she was sad. That's her character. She was sad. She was broken to fight for anything. But in general, her story overall is a sad one.
It is. I think she was just too broken to ask for more or for what she deserved.
I mean, what she really wanted was to have kids, and Baba Segi could not give her that, so staying there was kind of pointless.
I mean,
But
before
then
she
they had
even got into that house, with all the education that she got, why was her escape the fourth wife?
Because she felt accepted.
She said it they said it in the book, right? Because
Yeah.
as the fourth wife, there will be very little expectations from her. She will not have to go through all the hoops and the loops of trying to impress and trying to keep up and trying to do all that. She can literally, she said the reason she chose Baba Shegi's house as a fourth wife was because she would go in and she can be incognito. That was it. That was her goal right there. And that's why she chose him. Sorry?
So escape.
Yeah, that was it for her. That's all she wanted. She did not want to be a sport. She didn't have the energy to do extra she just wanted to go somewhere and just hide.
Mm-hmm.
And Baba Segi being a fourth wife, she was like, what's better than being a fourth wife? There are already 3 women. I don't think she foresaw that Baba Segi really liked her that much and would shine the spotlight on her. I think if she foresaw that, she would not have married him.
Still, with the education that she got, why was that her reasoning, though? I still kind of find it. I don't know.
Trauma. It's trauma. The rape, the abortion,
a mother.
It was just it was a trauma response. Unfortunately.
Was it the taxi thing that she went into the house, left her back?
Yes, she's that one. Yes, she was that one.
Okay. Nah, not today. But
he said, "Not today, Satan. Not today."
If not today, then when?
Someone that day, man. I'm not even saying that kind of violence, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I was reading this book, and I was listening to it, and most of the characters I was really laughing at some of the roles. I was really it really cracked me up, just because I guess I've seen this some point in my life. I've experienced this, and it's just different, right? Just having an understanding, and also having an understanding that some people don't have a choice and others do, right? But for those who actually do, and they put themselves in that position, I'm like, why? But again, it's kind of hard to, like you said, trauma, to really know what somebody's really feeling and what they're about to do, because I'm gonna find an escape type thing. In terms of when I think it was the first wife, damn, I keep forgetting her name. The first wife, she lost her daughter, right?
Yeah, Seegi.
Yeah. And that scene, Baba Segi didn't even like he just was so absent-minded. The only thing he went was, oh man, I'm gonna get a coffin and blah blah blah, like no reaction or no emotion, no nothing. How did you guys feel about that portion of the book?
Hold on, I think we're jumping. He was hurt. You see that, you remember? So there was that part, right? That's when he went to the doctor.
Sure. Around that time, yeah.
Around that time, that they told him that all his wives, pretty much, is that he had children outside of marriage. The man was embarrassed. He had gone drunk. It wasn't this one of his favorite kids, so he loved this girl. And to watch your child die, and there was nothing you can do. So he was already not emotionally there. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, you can tell maybe he had just given up. He was just like, you know what, it is what it is. Like, it's just, let me just bury it. Because according to Yoruba culture, apparently you don't know that the parents are not supposed to be there when the child dies. And so
he did what
buries the child, yeah. So he did.
You're not supposed to know where the child is buried too.
Buried at all. So he just did what he was supposed to. He did his role. He bought the coffin, and he said he's mourned because he did cry. He mourned his daughter, but he was just. I think they said part in the book. He said he went to his room, and he had that moment there. So I think he emotionally, the man was tired at that point in time because
He was
that week,
really
that week was
sad.
traumatizing for him.
Is there a different reaction that you guys think he should have had, or the reaction that he had was?
I think to me it made sense because I think it was a lot of emotions at once. You know, the daughter gets poisoned and it comes out of nowhere. So he's already dealing with violence, can't get pregnant. So he's just going through those things. And then they're like, okay, we're not done with this investigation. The next wife has to come in. Among that, then his daughter gets sick. And then he finds out it's like one blow after the other. It's kind of like in the book, he says something about when the gods seek something more is coming. So he was literally getting hit with bullets like from every side. So I really think I'm even surprised he didn't even kick them out immediately. You know, I think it was just the father in him, the loving nature in him that was like, let me get this casket, at least let me still do this. You know, I think he was just really hurt from every side, but he still at the end of the day did what he needed to do for the daughter. So, yeah.
I mean, he wasn't about to kick any woman out because who was going to take off his shoes and things like that? Who was going to cook for him? You know, so.
I mean, kicking them out to, be like in his face, like, okay, everybody now gets to find out that, yeah, nice kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and the thing you mentioned about the feminine energy, T, I think mentioned, and how you asked about like I guess modern day. I was gonna say, as not kicking them out, right? Teacher had said, "Oh, it's time for you to kick them out." I think in today's that whole aspect of the timeline then and today, still today, I think when you hear every podcast or every man or who is that random guy who everybody hates but doesn't hate, I don't know, and he talks about the types of girls he likes. Men still want the respect. Men still don't want the females who are doing the most. I think everywhere that you hear the man's man or the alpha males talking, they still want the woman that's gonna be like feminine. So I think it still relates to the type of like male and female gender roles that are going on today. Even if it was way back then, I still think today the man still wants to be the head of the household. They still expect their woman to be somewhat submissive. I think it's still the same. I don't think time has really changed what we see or what society thinks men and women's role should be at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like you guys mentioned, right? That feminine energy in terms of knowing how to control, or not control, but move in a room, right? Like you command your respect. It's like you say, it's not given, it's earned, type of thing. And what's the point of two captains on the ship? You walk in the house, you have two masculine energy. What are we, roommates? You know what I mean? Like, what is this, soccer practice? You feel me? So like, they gotta be some
the locker room.
Clash of the Titans.
They gotta be some kind of balance. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, me personally, it's just sometimes when I just see a woman, start giving out that masculine energy, I just sit there, look like, ugh. I don't know, if it's like you look at a man, right, and like a man who has done something that's against your belief, and you have that ugly picture of him. Flip that, right? It's like seeing a woman. Just flip that. It's like watching Tarzan, flying from one stick to the other type thing. Well, not literally, but you can imagine it. You know what I'm saying? So
you have to go to Tanzania.
I was looking for a different character, but I could not pronounce their name, so I just let it go. I just let the character name go. But within all of this, how does communication, right? How has communication either made that whole story pleasant to listen to or not to you? How did communication play in that?
I think that the way that we communicate influences how the recipient gets the message. Like in terms of Bolana's mother and sister, I mean, even though I was reading the book, I could feel that, I don't know if it's negative energy in the way that they communicated, which made it hard for, especially towards the end when Bolanda's sister went to see her mom and then she was pregnant, and then the conversation that she was having with her mom was not they were not hearing each other until Bolanda asked the question, and then they were all quiet, and then it sounded like from that point on they were able to have a conversation that everybody was heard, and then I think that their dad joined into the conversation as well, and it was more, how can I say, it was more friendly as opposed to attacking, each other. So yeah, I do believe that the way that we communicate, the tone and the choice of words influences how the other person receives it. Because if you're communicating in the sense of attacking the other person as opposed to expressing how you feel about something, it changes the dynamics in the conversation.
And also, this goes back to Segi, and how she pretty much came to have all her cement stores. Her communication and how she relates to her husband. The scene where they explain how she went about doing that just shows that, one, he's a man, he wants the idea to come from him. She, in her feminine energy, knew that, and she went about it in the right way. So she, just be a baby, act like, oh, please do this for me, X, Y, and Z. So she presented it in a manner that he was able to receive it with gladness, and he was like, I'm gonna do this so my wife won't cry anymore. I'm the man, I'm the hero. She clearly knew that that's what he needed. That's exactly what his ego needed, and she got exactly what she wanted. So you have to know how to present what you really need, and it is better to say things softly, say things more gently. How it's presented definitely makes a difference.
Yep.
It's like I always say, talk to me nicely.
Yeah.
Wait, Therese, Barbara, did you guys have anything to add to that? No? Okay. If not, then do you think the ending offers closure, and if so, for whom?
I would say yes.
I don't know if it offers closure for anything, because yes, the book is when you first of all begin the book, you don't get it at the end. There was this huge secret that everybody knew, even Bolland did not, that they found out towards the end. But there are a couple of things that the book did not address. One, they did not come out and tell Baba Segi that it was Segi, Segi and Tope that murdered his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He did not find that out, and I don't think Bolale knew. I don't know if she knew, but the book, she did not. So that I had a problem with. I was wondering why they didn't measure that, because I don't think there's closure there, because that kid died. I can clearly tell he was poisoned.
Yeah.
And I think it broke my heart because the child knew who killed her. This is that part a little bit touched me, because she knew, and she told the mother to speak the truth. Mm-hmm. And so she knew that the mom was trying to kill. I don't know if they were intentionally trying to kill the person, but I'm convinced Femi was trying to kill Bolanle. You can't tell me, because how can I tell you to put 1 or 2 drops? You throw the entire bottle in it. But anyway, so I don't think it all for closure. And then number 2, we spoke about how Shegi is very, she's like how she's a boss lady. She very business oriented. She built, like, she had like 7 stores. She lost it. That was something that, do you understand? Years upon that woman took to build her business, but she gave it all up. So I was curious as to, okay, what is the step moving forward? Like, okay, is she going to try to get it back? Because Baba Shiki gave them conditions to stay back. They were supposed to be mute. You cannot even smile or breathe. In fact, you're supposed to be there as if you're there. And they said yes. So he took away everything else that they gave them a source of joy. So and the Baba Shegi himself, he's an African man. Pride to those people and their egos is everything. That thing crushed him, and the one thing that he actually wanted, the wife that he wanted, left him. I don't think he had closure. The book did not give closure to anybody. I think the only person that got closure was Bonale in some sense because she told her secret. She finally told her mother she was raped. She didn't tell her mother she had an abortion though. She skipped that part. Well, not everything you have to tell everybody. But she told her mother the one secret that she was raped, and and she told her mother the reason why she left. And when she found that Baba Shegi would not give her what she wanted, and I think she left because she probably got her confidence back because she finally is like, this is not giving me what I want.
I think
It's not.
I would say that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I don't know if she might have gotten some sort of closure there, and that's why she's just like, I'm out. But apart from that character, I don't think any other characters left because I think the story has a couple of other completed stories because Taju left too. The Taju was the driver. The person that got Baba Iya Shegi pregnant. That's the father of
The driver, yeah.
Yes, that story too ended. That Lali story, I don't understand. And then I wanted to know what happened to Ian Femi, that he burns down the uncles. I wanted to know what happened to that. And then the guy that went to America, what happened to? There's a couple of stories closures that was not just, so I don't think anybody had closure.
I think the reason I say that there was closure was, for me, life has happened. And they just chose to move on. It's not closure that anything has been solved. It's closure that they all needed to be with their husband because they had nowhere else to go. He let them stay. He's a family man. He loves his children. His pride is still intact because he gets to keep his wife and all his children. And at the end of the day, society sees Bolale as the problem because she couldn't have kids, so she left. So in the eyes of society, everything is still the way it should be. She left, and I think she did get some clarity. I think she finally did figure out that Mama Shegi is impotent, and at the end of the day, she genuinely did want to give him kids. So I want to come, I want to chill, I want to be the fourth wife. I don't really have to do anything, but I've gone through a lot of stuff in this house in the last couple of years, and this man can't even give me children. It's not even that I can't give him children, he can't give me children. So there's really no reason for me to be here. So I think on the fact that their household was still intact from their eyes and society's eyes, they can now move on to kind of figure out how they want to really rearrange stuff. I feel like Shegi will one day find her way to still entice him to kind of go back to her root of loving money, and one day he'll be a little bit more passive and still let her do it. But that's, in my eyes, what I mean by I think everybody got closure because things kind of settled back, and at the end of the day, they can still save face. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was some kind of closure because the secret was out. So the secret was out, there's nothing, nobody's hiding anything, and just like Segi was able to get him to give her what she wanted at the beginning, at some point she probably could still get it. But yeah, the character I felt kind of bad and happy for was Bomale. Because yes, now it looks like you said, no, it looks like she's the one who has the issue, not being able to have kids. But she's leaving knowing that she's not the one with the issue. So.
Yeah.
So
am I the only one? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask, am I the only one that think that Shegi will never get into Baba Shegi's good graces again? Like, I feel like that always goes forever. Because the way that pride on my hands, but sorry.
I mean, she has her way though. I feel like, once having her way, she can always have her way back, but we would never know because the story ended.
Therese, do you think there's closure? Someplace?
I got carried away. Yes and no. I mean, I kind of agree with bits and pieces of what everyone else has said, right? Finally, the big secret is out. Everybody can breathe. There's that, but everybody else lost what it is that they wanted the most. But then, at the end, they still got compensated for it because Baba Shegi still kept them in his house, therefore providing them that covering that they've always sought from a man. So it's like it was a sweet compromise, I would say, for all of them. I think the only person who really lost was Baba Segi in all this. He lost the daughter, he lost the wife he loved. I mean, even though he's still gonna love and cater for those children, I think just because he was a dutiful man and he would look after those kids, but I think he's the one who ended up getting the short end of the stick. But then he's the one who forgave the most. But I mean, c'est la vie. I think they'll all just find a way to deal with the new circumstance, and I do believe if to say they was to write a continuation of the book, I know Mama Shegi will still come out on top.
Yes. I strongly
That's
believe
all.
that.
She's relentless. I
Yeah.
have complete faith in her. So, but
I do
you know,
believe that.
it's yes
Speaking
and no. It's a bargain. It's a bargain at the end.
Speaking of Iya Sheki, there's something about this book that the book touched a little bit. Her sexuality. Like it just, I think it nibbled on it a little bit and then it just moved on. That Iya Sheki was actually attracted to women.
Yeah, she's bisexual.
Yeah, she was bisexual. I was very curious about it. I was like, oh, so this thing has been happening since in the dawn of ages, especially like there. They were that happening since. And so that was just a little bit. I was like, okay. It's like wait, I think my sense is when you talk about African culture, just where the book was written, that's not something that you will address or touch. But
or explore. Like there's
at
no
all.
proof that you can explore something like that. Yeah.
Yes, because in our culture, it's just not. That back in the day, back in that time, was a taboo, and even to now, it's still frowned upon from just that part of the world. And so I kind of like that she touched on it a little bit. That she actually was bisexual. She was attracted to women, and despite it, she addressed it in the book, but she really did not explore that part. So that's another part of the book that I say there's a couple of questions I want answered because I think it's more my curiosity. I want to see how that story unwinds and how it falls out. Does she just suppress it? Does she explore it? Because she kept saying, it's not time yet. If you read the book, like when she met a woman that she saw us, she kept saying, oh, it's not time yet. Yeah, it's not time yet. So I'm just like, I want to, if there's like a part 2 of the book, I want her to explore that character. I just want to see how it evolves.
Well, I say you could try that one.
What is wrong with you?
I kind of found it interesting that it wasn't mentioned, throughout her marriage, though. Like, it wasn't mentioned that part of her came up.
Yes, at all.
Was it just like a childhood thing? Or
no, because there was one part when Bonale's friends came to visit.
Yeah.
There was one of
Yep.
There was a part. Yes.
The girl the first time Bolale and Baba Shegi met, the girl Yesimi or whatever her name is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yemisi.
The way Shegi described Yemisi or the person that was reading it as Abba. So, but that's where. And then she said it again. This was her second crush. She said it again. She said no yet. Baba, she said yeah. So it was her telling herself that no yet. Okay. So it was brought up, yeah.
I mean, it can. Well, this is an aspect from a different book that I read. Like her love or her relationship with money. It's kind of similar to the masculine energy because the masculine energy tends to find their strength in money or how much money they can make. So maybe it's either the masculine side of her was attracted to these women, or how do I put this without offending some ego?
Put it. Just
I think I'll leave it at that. In the sense of her relationship with money. Her mom telling her that if you build this house, nobody's gonna marry you. And I can relate to that particular statement because, I remember when I was trying to get a property and I'm like, who's going to marry you if you have a house? Who's going to marry you if you have to go back home? And I was just like, wow, okay. Is this what we have turned into? Commodities? To just be passed on? hand it over. But like, yeah,
I
this
mean, you
is
don't hear that though. We Africans, especially the women, if you get too much education, I've been told that don't. I think it's.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do residency. I wanted to get a fellowship, and I got like a whole lecture about
if you make too
not
much
really.
money, you can't
I
find a
make too
man.
much money. It's like one of my aunts called me that your mother has called you. You want to go back to school again? I was like, yes, I just finished residency. I want to be I want to do fellowship because it's another. I wanted to, so something I was trying to get. I didn't get it, and I said I just wanted to complete it. I got a whole lecture, but the stubborn side of me wanted to do it. It's just that Mrs. I was tired of being. So I said no, let me go and work.
Yeah,
I was
actually,
getting
the guy
money.
told me that I should stop threatening them with all this education. I said, maybe men should
So
go to school.
women hear that a lot, especially
Yeah.
if you're Africans. You get told that. So
And it's funny because it was not just in the Mama Segi's time, right? Even in 2023, they look at you bold in the face and say that to you. And so
I
it's
mean, even talking about reading regular books like that one that we just
Yep.
talking about, people are intimidated by the fact that you read books that are not non-school related books, and I'm like, that's just a hobby. Nobody is threatening your intellect by reading a novel. That's a story for a different day.
But I have to applaud Shegi. I think her attraction for women was still there. She just liked men and women. I mean, who wouldn't? Have you seen a beautiful woman? The curves. This woman described the woman, and I think I fell in love because she
that's why
she described a woman with so much desire. She liked women, but I think she was too focused on her grind that she
Yes,
knew
because
that
she
this would be a distraction.
Yeah,
So,
she
and
told
she had a
them.
lot of self-control that I admire in her. She was like, nope,
Yeah,
this
she
would
told her
distract.
husband to tell her to stop bringing her friends. Yeah,
You
so
think
Yes.
her control was more so than her desire. Yeah,
Yeah, and that kind of drive you see more. Well, maybe from what I've seen on my experience, you see more of that kind of work ethic kind of drive more in the masculine than in the feminine, because the feminine is like and the masculine is like, you gotta make money to feel like you're somebody, you know? Anyway, like I said, I'm not trying to go there. So
do you think that there is lesbianism in most women?
Yes.
For example, why I ask is because I cannot sit and hear a man describe another man and I go, ooh, I'm gonna fall in love. The fuck is that?
I think that women are just more open in expressing
we are
admiration.
expressive.
Yeah, they're more open in express. Like, I find that more women compliment other women than men compliment other men. It's. I mean, it has levels to the whole complimenting. I could just see someone say, "I like your outfit," and somebody could be like, "Oh, I like how your outfit fits on your body and how the colors come." So there are levels to it. But I don't know that men can compliment an outfit just in passing, but I don't know that they will go that much into detail. So I think it's more.
No, they will not.
Look. Let's talk about details, right? Since you mentioned, let's just pick one.
Mhm.
You will see another woman's ass and you go, damn, I think it's fat. Even damn near go touch it, right? And it's
I was about to say exactly that.
and it's supposed to be normal.
I
But
mean,
no homo, God forbid, I see another man's blueprint bulging out and I go, damn, man, your thing is.
That sound
Wait,
like
hold
a
on.
man. That sound like a man's
Okay,
problem
my
to me.
problem. Because I don't understand. I see, like, I have seen beautiful women. Like, there's a girl at work. Also, she's an MP, and her body is banging. Right? She goes to the gym and everything. I literally walked up to her and I said, "Mama, listen, your body is amazing. I don't know what your workout routine is, but I need it because whatever you're doing is working." Am I attracted to women? Hell no. I like some dick. I'm sorry. I like men. See that I'm more.
Say with your chest.
I am
She
sorry.
likes Bola.
I am attracted to men. But if it's, I don't understand what's wrong with you seeing something. Why it's so hard for guys to see? If your guy looks good, tell him he looks good. It doesn't mean you are attracted to him or you want to sleep with him or you have feelings. It's just, hey, you look nice. It's just like when you see a pretty flower out. Oh, that's it. A rose. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's cute. Or you see art.
In
People like art.
in this day and age, that you guys are driving most men to be gay.
We are the ones driving there.
Okay.
I
Huh?
thought
Wow.
that,
Thank you. Thank
you
you.
know what? We'll enter another rabbit hole with that one. But we are not the, I don't think it's women driving men to be gay. If you want to like a man, go and like it with your whole chest. Don't be blaming women.
Right. You just like
And vice versa.
how we enter the matter. That's the thing. How we
a lot of
enter that.
a lot of lesbians that I've heard is because they go, oh, I had to do this because they've been getting too much wrong for men. That's why they they went that way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men are becoming these days because some women are also, doing.
Listen, the common factor in all of that is the attraction for the opposite sex, right? Because men have done me dirty too. I don't see myself falling in love with a woman anytime soon because that
No.
attraction is not there. So if you have it, only with your chest and don't hide behind
It's your
somebody.
cultural beliefs that's making you,
It's not my cultural
It's not
belief.
okay.
I like
think it is.
I like that like we have been saying, I like that masculine energy around me. I don't want another woman.
See, it's like you're sitting here, you're surrounded by beautiful women, right? Nora is gorgeous. Miley is gorgeous. T is gorgeous. It doesn't mean I'm attracted to them sexually. They're beautiful women. They're just that. It's absolutely nothing wrong with like, oh my God, you're really, really, the blue brings out the compliments of your eyes, or the green pops your eyes out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm not attracted to them. I am attracted to men.
Like if you wanted to play both sides, you let them know. You gotta play at both sides in China and come back to America.
You know what?
Anyways, listen, man, we digress. Sorry.
Very fun. Very fun.
Will it be an episode if he doesn't drag us where we don't know?
That's it. I really carry with their play. No.
See, to what you guys were mentioning earlier, that girl Bolale, I don't think I felt any shred of pity or sorry, for her.
Why not?
Money almost slapped you through the screen.
I felt it. But anyways, the reason why is because, like, it's not that I'm not empathetic to her story. I am, but I still feel like she had other options, rather than saying, oh man, like I'm gonna go do this because I'm not getting this from here. You know what I mean? Like from home, for example. And I also think that there's some sense of selfishness on her part at the end. Very selfish in the sense that, you come in here and you gain all of this because you want to escape from that. And then when push comes to shove, you're just going to leave because things are not the way, you want to be, say, you want kids and, all that jazz. Like, yes, you've helped uncover this secret in this house, but that doesn't mean that you bounce just because, everything is not the way you want it to be. So to me, that was a very selfish moment, for her. But that's just my opinion.
Well, that's true. I mean, okay, so there's a couple of things, right? It's just, I think our friend is it the frustrate or your opinion about it is just the fact that you think she failed to have accountability for whatever. I don't even know if accountability is a word.
It is a thing, right? Her not speaking about her experience, her traumatic experience with anybody, and waiting all the way to the end to bring that in, to me, I kind of sort of like blame her for how things transpired. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to keep that, that's on you. If she went seeking counseling, which at that time was not something, I get it, was not something that was out there, but at least your own mom or your own dad or your siblings, find somewhere to confine in. That way you remove that from your mind, or you begin to have, closure on that. You are carrying this thing and making all these other decisions and getting here, and then this happens and then you bounce. To me, that's just plain old selfish. But it's the world we live in. You know what I mean? It's the world we live in. Cannot judge her for why or what she did, but I can say to me it was selfish.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with her being, if she wants to be selfish, that was her choice. I would keep failing to realize that people are different.
Of course.
We are completely different. Like, it might take you, if something happens, it might take you a month to approach somebody. It takes people years. Years, a very, very long time. So people will not be able to do that. And so I don't think you can blame her for how she went about making sure her relieving or trying to, I think she was numbing her trauma or choosing not to deal with it. You can't, that was her choice. And I don't see, was she selfish? Yes, I can see that, but it's not something I'm going to judge her on. It's like, okay. She did what she got to do to get over what she was going through at the moment. And so, did she put an effort? She did, though. She did put in an effort to make sure whatever she was trying to do to give the man what he wanted. The girl did put in an effort. Let's give her that grace.
Let me remind you to why I'm taking the stance I'm taking, right? As we grow older in life, sometimes we fail to recognize when an older person is trying to educate us on experiences, past experiences, or things that might put us in traumatic experiences, right? So when you decide to forget about what could possibly happen in a given situation, or what's the word, be oblivious to your current situation, sometimes I'll put it on you versus the other person. In the way I'm thinking it or in the way I'm feeling it, I'll put it on you. Because sometimes damn well don't go with strangers, or damn well don't go here, especially this time, but you still elect to go. Now, I'm not saying that should happen I'm not saying that should happen in, to anybody, but shit, it happens. Try and avoid it. If you don't, find a way to move past it. You don't find a way to move past it, you go assure yourself with somebody, and then later on, all these different things happen, and then you make another selfish decision again. Come on, man. There's just so much empathy I can deploy at a given point in time.
I think Bonlale subconsciously was punishing herself for what happened to her, because she knew that in her mind she did this because she did something that she was not supposed to do, and then it happened. So that's number one reason why she could not go to her mom, because she's like, they have told me multiple times, don't talk to strangers, don't do this. And against her better judgment, she got excited and got into a car with a stranger, and that happened to her. So I think she just grew up with that whole guilt that she was subconsciously just punishing herself. You know what? Let me just go to this man's house and hide and stay there. But I think at the end of the day, she is so lost. She doesn't know what she wants. That's why it's just a series of decisions that's trailing, bad decisions that's trailing her. Because if she really wanted to hide, now that the whole family secret and everything is out, that was the perfect hiding place for her at that time. But then she left, and so it's like, what do you want? I think that she has a lot to figure out for herself. That's why she's just bouncing around. But at least I think she could go home now without that guilt of what happened to her lingering over her head since she had told her mom about it. So, but I think she still has a lot of figuring out to do for herself.
I mean, go ahead.
I think that trauma is a very funny thing to process for somebody else, right? It's
Absolutely.
easy from the outside saying that she should have told somebody. Yes, she should have, but did she feel safe? Because look at the relationship she had with her mother prior to that moment. I would assume that she didn't feel safe enough to tell her mother that, because she didn't know how her mother would receive it. Was it selfish? I wouldn't say selfish so much. Maybe in the end, deciding to not stay with Baba Segi may have been selfish, but she wanted kids as much as she wanted to give Baba Segi kids. But in that instant, there was no point staying there if kids was part of the equation, because if she ended up having a kid, it would be obvious that it wasn't Baba Segi's kids. So will she continue in the path of the other three women? Maybe not. Maybe she didn't want that. But yeah, the part where um, her not telling anybody that she was raped and then she had committed an abortion. It's processing trauma is hard and it's different for different people. So if people get hurt in the process of somebody processing or not processing their trauma, it's the consequence. It's like you can't, when you pick up a stick, you pick up both ends of the stick. So when you make a choice, there's gonna be consequences. It could be positive or it could be negative. But yeah, people are dealing with a lot. And if I don't feel safe talking about it, it's not just gonna come out.
You just gonna wait to the end to deal with the calamity, right?
Either way, there are gonna be consequences because if she told the story of rape and abortion in the beginning, there would have been consequences. We don't know what the consequences would have been, but there would have been consequences. Just like telling it in the end or not telling it at all, there are still consequences. So at the end of the day, we pick and choose what we're ready to deal with.
What are lingering questions that the book left you with, other than what we've been chatting about? What are other lingering questions?
My own, let me go because this one is boiling in my spirit. is the whole man-woman dynamic in a marriage, right? And as much as the whole leaning into your feminine energy, and that's how, the balance and order of things and chaos. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, does this mean perpetually women are just to pander to the masculine energy? That part, I don't know who answered that question for me. Because as much as that's how, the nature of things, that's how order is restored in the universe, it's always almost like the woman is the one that has to make that environment for that balance to be in place, if that makes sense. You have to know how to talk. You have to lean into this. You have to know, how to approach things. Dance around the man's ego. That, and I'm like, is this a forever shit right here? I don't know. Somebody needs to answer that question for me. Maybe somebody who's married, has been married for 50 years, might give me the gist.
So,
But
I think it goes both ways, right? I think it goes both ways because it's like, for me to be able to do what I'm capable of doing, you need to be able to do what you're capable of doing. Now, like Maddie mentioned earlier, or yeah, like what she was insinuating earlier, or like what my mom will always say, any money head na neck the carry am, right?
right.
Like you have the head and the neck, and literally, and I wish it is a camera. Literally, I wish some women understand this. You have the power to shape the way you want to. You have that power. Now, the power really is in you to see if you can unlock it. If you cannot unlock that, don't blame nobody but yourself. If I see that potential in you and I'm telling you have it, but you refuse to unlock that, that's on you. And that's really what happens in most relationships, or with some women. That's really what happens. You refuse to tap into your own potential. You refuse to tap into your own potential, or you know what it is, but you refuse to deploy it. Why? Because you think that you got to be wifey status, or you got to be this status. But how do you get there, really? By snapping your finger? Last time I checked, you're not Thanos. You can only be that when you deploy your feminism. Is that the word?
Femininity.
That one. That one. That's when it really comes out. Because now, I'm like a car. You gotta come and that analogy goes both ways, right? You gotta come and feel it. And to be able to start it, you have to know that, I gotta push the brakes to be able to start this. If you don't know to push that brakes, that car will not start. And it goes the other way too. If I'm not able to create an environment where you can deploy that femininity, then it's just not going to work. So I guess it takes two to really tangle.
I mean,
Beginning to the
you're
end.
right. If both, I think you're correct there. Like, if both people effectively play the roles that they're supposed to play, then it would not feel like one person is doing the bulk of the unseen work.
Well, I'm sorry, one person has to really do it though. You know what I'm saying? Think about it as, like time, right? In time. Each person has their seasons. There's a reason why there's winter, there's summer, there's spring, and there's fall. Each one serves a specific purpose. And sometimes I need to use my purpose to unlock your purpose, and vice versa. I would not always have the answers. And you would not always have the answers. But when I don't and you do, it makes life a lot easier. But what happens when I don't and I come to you and you clearly refuse, or you might have it, or you refuse to put it on the table because, I did not do X, Y, Z, but I know that you have the answers. What happened then?
Yeah, but that's shared load, right? Which is okay. But I'm just talking about the part where it's mostly like some of the dynamics in certain relationships. It's always the woman doing the bending to appease. That's what I'm saying. Like, if both people, like you say, do their part and understand the seasons and where to lean in more, then it would not feel like one person alone is solely responsible for the success of this.
Remember, the person you are mentioning who's carrying all the load is the person who gave the other person the apple. So you have to carry the load.
Hey,
You started this this heavy load that they dropped on us that we must suffer. So guess what? You carry most of the suffer. What's the problem there?
But she came out of the man.
Hey, God.
The man could not slap the
I
apple
beg.
from her hand.
No, we are not.
That is not going to end.
Uncle AK will carry us where we don't know.
Listen,
I beg.
listen.
I beg.
I am still very hurt, even though it was not even my time. But I'm still very hurt that, God had to make that possible. They had to take it from me. It's like, bruh, why can't you just make her own from scratch? Make her own from scratch. Why did they have to take it from me? Now making me look bad in representation, because it's really not. I would have never touched the apple.
Next person, because Uncle Eke is carrying us down one dark alley like that.
If they carry with the go where we don't know. I beg.
Pose your question again. Let the other people pick up.
I beg.
Unanswered question from the book.
I was just saying, what were some lingering questions, from the book that you guys had?
Do I have any? Oh, I'm wondering for how long. Because Segi accepting to the conditions for staying in Baba Segi's house after the reveal of all the secrets, losing all her shops and all that. That's a different level of control. So I'm just wondering, how long she allowed herself to not do the things that she really desires. Because from my understanding, I feel that we as humans, if we are prevented from doing the things that we really want to do, resentment sets in, and then the way that resentment plays out is usually not a pretty thing. So that's just one character I wonder about, and also how Bolanle, figured out her life. Because as for Femi, she could go to hell for all I care. I mean, Tope was just too passive. I felt like there was really no hope or no way out for her. But yeah, the two people I wonder about is Segi and Bolanle.
I kind of agree with a little bit of what Mane has said, but I think Baba Shegi for me was the one I had a couple of questions for, because teacher was somebody he respected a lot. He had a lot at the immense amount of teacher. He went to teacher for everything, right? And just in general, he's a man and an African man. His pride and ego is everything. And in that culture, children are what they said. They call it teachers. What is their seed? It shows it shows who you are as a man. Which, sorry, let me digress. Do y'all recall where the reason why teachers did not get married?
He was supposed to be a priest or something. Yeah, he
Yes.
was supposed to be a priest.
Yes. And so he got angry that when the people left, they abandoned him. So he decided that people were selfish. The reason is just very bizarre. The man, yes. So teacher's character is somebody that I want them to develop because he has a lot of. I'm curious as to why he is the way he is. They kind of like give us a little snippet of it, but sorry, I'm back. So with Baba Segi. With Baba Segi, right, as I mentioned, his ego is everything, and him going to teacher and telling him that because he did tell teacher he can't have children and that what his secret was. I was curious what his relationship with teacher was going to be like moving forward. You understand? Because teacher does not see him like in my head.
Yeah, he didn't take his advice.
Yes, because in my head, I'm like, teacher was everything to him, but now that teacher knows your secret, because before he was doing all this Bolale, teacher was telling him to conquer Bolale, to do all XYZ, but that was because he could give birth, he had children. But now that they know that you're shooting blanks, I'm curious. I just wanted to know how that dynamic was going to change with him, his interaction with the men, because they go sit in the bar, they get a drink, the people that complain about their wives, and they admire all the girls out there, they talk. It was a whole masculine thing. So I was just curious as to how everything unfolded, how it was going to affect his masculinity, one, his relationship with teacher, and I think he was going to keep his family, but I was just curious to see his relationship with his wives, and he was going to marry somebody else. So I had a lot of questions. There's a lot.
That's a good thing for maybe we can leave the author to develop the part 2 of the book.
Yes.
The afterlives of the
afterlives, yes.
You know, just thinking about, they should not be saying somebody's shooting blanks. That's very offensive. Because if they say that, it's like me saying somebody's fat.
Like,
it's not the same thing. Well, I don't
know what?
So let me not say it's not the same thing.
Okay, let me take you back.
You are still like shaming somebody, right? Because it's like a defect. It's a defect in somebody, right? So we can say it, and we can say it just sparingly, just throwing it out there. But to the person who actually is shooting blanks, is very offensive.
Okay, so our listeners, I do apologize for the use of words. It was not intended that way.
No, I was just putting it out there because I don't think that most people actually think about it like that.
No, I did not until you said it.
I did not. I actually did not.
It just dawned on me. I was like, damn, I feel for that man. Like,
I think we don't get it because we don't shoot.
We don't. So I was just...
It's good to have the other perspective, which makes
it is. I just did not think about it. Like, okay, yeah, right. It's not gonna be offensive. So
is he shooting blanks or is he not shooting blanks?
We have to find a better way to say it.
I'm sorry. I just said it, but I get it. You're right. It's like calling a woman who has fertility problems like you're barren. It's practically the same thing.
Right, but he felt no type of way blaming his wife. Like, he thought it was okay to just be like, "Oh, you're the problem. You're the problem. You're the problem." Like,
right, until it was his turn to say he was shooting blanks, and then I guess he understood how it was, how the shoe fell.
Yeah, and on the foot.
And can we applaud those doctors for using wisdom in telling this man
that
he was the problem?
Because I watched a Nigerian movie with
that was great bedside manners.
Yeah, they tried. They really did. Yeah.
Laura, did you have any questions from the book?
Not really. I think I would just like use my imagination to imagine like what would happen next. Not really.
So wait, what happens when, like a book was written, say in 2011, right? And then they rewrite that book in 2023. Did they fix certain things about the story? Did they add to it? I'm not quite sure how that works. Because the reason I'm asking is there are different versions of this book. And I feel as though this is the
Yeah.
most recent of it.
There's also like a play, yeah, like because originally I was gonna read the play version. So yeah, but I think only because I've read books that they've upgraded every year. I think if you're going to do something like that, you may add in like world events that may have changed or things that were happening in like the surroundings, or if some kind of technology has changed, you may add that into the storyline. I think that's the way you upgrade it. But I think like the core, the story itself, I don't think you really change that. I think you just upgrade like the surroundings to let everybody else know like the time period you may be in. And I think that's really the only thing that can change, because the story itself, you don't really have to change the story. It's more so just the surroundings.
I only ask because I'm using my imagination for the, like the doctors as Steve mentioned. I feel as though if it was back in the day, the doctors are way too refined for the setting of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they took it way too easy on that man. I felt as if it was back in the day, they would have crushed that man, like right then and there, like just murder him. This African setting at that. Oh man, what doctor in Africa has ever spared your feelings about something?
That's why I'm saying I watched a Nigerian movie recently, and they were, the man was supposed to reveal a similar result, and I was like, whoa! I actually felt the actor and actress pain, because I was like, wait, if I'm the one receiving that message, that way that you delivered it was not pretty.
Yeah, they're like that.
Even now, though, aren't there some Nigerian men who still marry, or some African men who still marry multiple wives?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe the story is not that old.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Also, we have to look at the setting, right? It could be modern times, but this was a whole like a village setting too.
Mhm.
So that's one thing to consider. And then the hospital was a teaching hospital, so I would think that it was the teaching hospital. So they're pretty advanced over there. It's just they grew up in an environment that's not very modernized. They're still very cultural and traditional too. That's the one thing. So
And
If you
the
can
one
read this,
educated too, so maybe they had to spin some education into it, I guess.
yeah.
you have not told us your question for the book. Do you have any question? Yes, you.
Abi, these are all my questions I've been asking us now. These are all my questions I've been asking. No, I beg, the one that I have burning in my heart, I beg, we don't have enough time. We've already gone 2 hours.
Just mention it. We'll not talk about
I want
it.
to know.
Just mention. We'll not talk about it.
No, hold on. I'll mention after this recording. But in conclusions, as you guys conclude, rate this book, man, on a scale of 1 to 5. What would you give it? So, Mane.
I would say the author did a good job of. I mean, at some point it was confusing for me, but the author did a good job of having these many characters and somewhat still being able to connect them across the book. Because in certain chapters it was just one character, and then another chapter it was multiple characters. So I would say that she did a good job of isolating yet connecting. So for that reason, I would say more like a 4.5. The 0.5 is just for my confusion, but I don't know if anybody else was as confused as I was. So yeah, between a 4.5 and a 5 actually.
That's a typical African rating. 0.5 is for me.
That is for my confusion.
Facts. All right. T, what's your?
I think I agree with Manny. With the how the individualism of the characters, and then the collectiveness of them all. I think that was beautiful. It, the writing captivates you into it, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is someone else's story that I just stepped into. And then at the end, it all makes sense. So I think it was a beautifully written book. Um, the storyline was, I was like, polygamy, what else? But it it the storyline was a plot twist to polygamy. I did not see that coming. And throughout the book, there was not a hint of what was coming too. That was a well concealed secret in the book. So I think I would give it I think I'll give it a 5. I would do it. And I like that it ended the way it did, because a good book should leave you wondering, right? I should not be able to extrapolate the end when I end the book. So that was a good novel.
Solid 5. Wow. Okay. Nora?
It did take me a little bit to realize that they had switched from like a corporate story to individual characters at first. It was just like one chapter. I was like, oh, this is one person. But after that, it flowed really well. I liked the story. There's a history of polygamy in my family. So just that idea, like I said, of why these women ended up where they were, that was very intriguing. I liked the backstory of how everybody ended up in Baba Shegi's house. The storyline was really interesting, and there was a lot of drama, a lot of ups and downs. I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed reading it. I rushed at the end to read it, but it was fun to read it in like the last 3 days. So overall, I really enjoyed the book. I think there is just always, not that I know what could have been better, but I think it could have been better. So I could give it like a 4.5 as well.
Barbara?
Yes, sir. See, I love this book. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I finished with this book a while ago, and the fact that I can still remember the characters tells you how much I love the book. I will start off by saying I started off by saying like a 4.5 because I had an answer question, but it's a 5 for me. And here's the reason why I think it's a 5. The book itself, I think it gives like an insight for if you're not African, like if let's say an African American or an Asian or somebody else reads it, it gives you an insight of African culture. Like it gives you like a good side that this is what culture, this is what is normal for us in that part of Africa, of Nigeria. That part of Africa, that's very normal. Also, it gives us the readers a preview of what polygamy is like. What having the little, like the family dynamics with polygamy, because this man had 4 wives, different children. You could see the competition, the jealousy, the love, the whatever thing that we're going on, to the fact that it's like in that household they were jealous of each other, to the fact that they actually intended to kill one of the wives, but they mistakenly killed the child, and they accused somebody of witchcraft, which was just unseen. And this actually happens in real life. You hear those stories every day. You want to go back home, this is actually real life. And so I actually enjoyed that was portrayed in the book. I think I'm the only one that followed. I know exactly when each character was switched. I knew when she was switching from one person to another, because I was so involved, also engulfed in the book. I love reading the book. Like as much as anything else, I was very curious. Like if she didn't talk about somebody, I'll go to the next character, like, hold on, okay, what's happening? What happened there? So, but she had a way of connecting. She connected pretty much everybody that you had like a focal point. I think she gave a little bit, let me give you a background here, let me give you this background here, this background here. And her goal was just trying to bring everybody down to a certain point, and she did that. Or is it, I think it's a she. She did that beautifully. And so I do honestly, I did enjoy this book. So it's a 5 for me.
Okay. Damn,
How you read the book?
I just lost my train of thought. Okay. No, I'll give it a a 4.5. You know, for the reasons T mentioned earlier. You know what I mean? It could. There's definitely room for improvement, for sure, but not taking away from the beautiful writing style. Speaking in multiple different voices. I felt as if that was me, I would have lost somebody's voice and put it in somebody else's. Just keep contradicting everybody. But thank God for peer reviewers, I guess. But in terms of the story itself, it left me wondering, asking questions to myself, like, for example, sometimes, like, why do we men look for unnecessary stress sometimes? To It's like they say, to whom much is given, much is expected. If you go about taking on so much, then why not also manage the expectations? You know what I mean? Like, you are so out of sight that you don't even see what's going on right in front of you. Everything is playing and you don't still take the time to stand there and try to figure it out. Things like that. So, and then most importantly, just keep asking myself, like, bruh, how in the world didn't you see yourself in these kids? How? How did you see yourself in these kids, man? Like, looking at them, did they look like you? Did they act like you? How did you miss that?
I think that back in the day, though, they did not identify kids like based on how they looked like their parents. It's only today that people would question the paternity or maternity, or more the paternity and the maternity of the kid. Like, they'll be like, oh, you don't look like. I'm like, how is that in your business?
Okay, that's very easy, especially if you don't have any reason for suspicion. It's like the wives did not miss a bit. So there was not even any reason for he to even think that was even remotely possible. So that's very easy. Even if it was just one woman, if she doesn't miss a beat, it's very easy for you to not see it. Now, unless whoever she had the kid with is a split image of that person, and that person is in close proximity with you, you will never know. Because it's genetics. There's no guarantee that kid is gonna come out looking like you just because you're the dad. I have nothing of my dad's feature. My sister is a split image of my dad. And light skin. Both parents are dark. My sister is extremely light skinned. My mom and my dad are darker than I am. So if she didn't look exactly like my dad, it was a whole problem. It really was when she was born. But she had his everything. So you cannot tell. The only thing that I can tell is DNA. There's no way to tell.
There'll be calls for action. Calls for action. Like, for example, you mentioned, say, for example, I'm growing up, both of my parents are light skinned. Somebody robbed Caro at some point in time, because you cannot tell me I just came out dark skinned. So who robbed Caro here? I'm asking that question. Who robbed Caro? Who changed her color?
That could be from your grandparents.
No.
I'm telling you, it's genetics.
3 generations down.
No,
it's genetics. I'm telling you.
I'm agreeing with you. Yes, it's genetics, right? But the curiosity in me will still go and ask, like, I'll ask myself, why are both parents light skinned and I'm dark skinned? And then, worst of all, if I'm really dark skinned, like, come on now. I've seen dark people instead give birth to albinos and not the other way around. Come on.
I mean, you have a point there, but
It's the beauty of genetics. You never know until they get here.
But you also see mannerisms, unless you're not really paying attention. If you really,
it's not immediately obvious.
No, it's not.
Until like what, 6 months, 1 year.
Maybe not then too. It's still young, right? Sometimes it's not up until they're like getting to independent age that you can start picking up some things from kids. But that young, nah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's why after reading this book, I just said, fear women. Again,
But what did they have the kids with? They had the kids with men, so fear both.
No. Bamu, no, I
They
refuse.
saw the tangle.
It sure do, but in this
They didn't
particular
have the
one,
kids by themselves.
they, you know what's it?
They went looking for it.
Use Taju. Use Taju. The man that was very close to Taju. And he was
He was
driving
like,
it
I'm
up and
gonna
down.
do me. I don't
Yes.
care. I'm gonna do me.
So if you want to say fear women, in this sense, that goes to Taju was an example. Like, okay, if we fear men too, because Taju was with this man every day, drove him, took him to places. He's complaining to Taju, but the man knew what he was doing.
Right in his face.
The reason why
Mm.
Daju was comfortable doing that was because the women opened the realm for that. If those women, if that woman did not open that bridge for that to happen, it would have never happened. Again, the apple.
Now it's the woman.
The apple.
That is the apple.
She was
That
not
is
Could the man not refuse to eat the apple?
No, the man can. The man can.
No,
But you never know that and that's the other man it define you.
So don't trust men. So don't trust men.
If use her feminine energy on Adam, that's what happened.
But she sure did, and that's the thing. Manipulation. Matter of fact, she should be jailed because she manipulated, she lied, she carried tongue for somebody else, and she lied about it. And then, man, listen, it's just so much combined together. She should be tried in court.
The power of a woman.
But anyways, as usual, use what you have to get what you want. That's the reality of life, you know.
And then he concludes with that.
In this particular life, if possible, don't be the pawn. You know what I mean? The first person in the front line. Don't be the cadets because the cadets get shot first. If you come back, it's by luck. Your God was really strong. You know what I mean? But anything else you guys want to add to this?
I want to be Segi when I grow up.
Oh, first wife.
You had to use the
first wife.
Yeah. I need Segi to lay hands on me and transfer some of the anointing.
Yeah, that's
I need that.
Well, you know what?
Stir the ship.
Well, you know what that comes with, right? You have the powers. You just have to kiss a lot of ass. But would you though? I don't think so.
Well, are you talking about me as a person?
Yeah, I'm talking about you trying to be like her, right? You want her to teach you some things. If she teaches you that thing that she does in this current society that we're in, this day and age, this particular today like this, will you do it?
Why would I not do it? If it's getting me what I need.
She didn't have to kiss ass. I don't know how.
My Lord.
She just knew how to use her words and when to use it, and she just knew how to stir the ship or the head.
Yeah, she knew how to cut the yam.
There you go.
That's my next Instagram caption.
Go on.
You know what?
How and when?
You know what?
When?
You guys, I always say, when you cut, just don't mistakenly cut your finger in the process. As you're cutting. You know what I'm saying? Just don't mistakenly cut your finger in the process because you can bleed to death. Just saying.
That's why you have to be skilled in the act.
Okay. I like this. But part 2 coming soon on the skilled in the act.
Yes.
But for those listening, man, if you really want to enjoy this episode, I think you should take a crack at reading this book, be it the audio version or the book in itself. Shameless plug in the book, shameless plug, go pick it up, read it. We can, call one of us. I will borrow a book to you for a fine price. You know what I'm saying? But it's a very good read. I did really enjoy the read. Shed a lot of light on so many different things, especially, living in a polygamous home. You know what I mean? Thank God that I never had to experience some shit like that. I don't know how I would have survived, probably helped my mom kill the rest of the other folks. Not really, but really. But anyways, man, any other conclusions before we close this recording?
It's been a good discussion.
Wonderful, wonderful, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys. Barbara, Mane, Nora, Therese. Really appreciate you guys, you know what I mean? For one, actually, reading the book, man, it's not easy with, being December, a lot of festivities and everything, you know what I mean? So finding the time to actually sit down and read the book. And then, I know today was a very busy day for most folks. So actually dedicating these few hours to sit down and chat about it. And, despite how the book felt, we're still laughing about it some part. Some part we might leave here cursing like, man, what the hell that person thinks saying that? But it's all love, you know what I mean? It's all love. So hopefully you guys read too and, chime in the comment section on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, because it will be on there on all other streaming platforms. You know what I mean? So SITM Podcast and PWC Cast or Palm Wine Central Podcast is where these two recordings will go. So check them out, follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hey, thank you guys again. And we are outie.
What's the next book?
Hey, yeah, what's the next book? I don't know.
Oh,
So
no.
we went to what, Idaho, we got to Nigeria, we need to find like Japan, Trump.
How about this book? Because